No one ever told you this. But you've been hypnotized. Not by a swinging pendulum in front of your eyes, but by quiet repetition, by passing comments you heard when you were still a child, by fears that were never yours, but were handed down for you to carry. You wake up every day, brush your teeth, get dressed, grab a rushed breakfast, then walk out the door, and without even realizing it, you fall right back into the same script, same route, same thoughts, same emotions. You call it life. But in truth, it's just programming. Bob Proctor used to say, most people are stuck on autopilot. They're not thinking, they're just reacting. And if you slow down long enough to actually notice, you'll see how true that is. From a young age, you were trained to obey, to follow rules you never questioned, to accept standards that have nothing to do with your soul's purpose. You were conditioned to fit in, but never encouraged to wake up. What you believe about yourself didn't come with you at birth. It was installed. You don't have beliefs. Your beliefs have you. Your subconscious mind, responsible for 95% of everything you do, works like an old tape recorder. It doesn't think. It just plays back. And what it plays is what it's been fed for years by outside voices that never knew your true worth. You're living in a loop. Not because you choose to, but because you're stuck in a paradigm, an invisible framework of beliefs and habits shaping your reality without your awareness. It's like an actor born to play legendary roles, but placed on a small stage with a limited script, and never once asked why they can't write their own lines. That's how the cycle of autopilot begins. You feel a subtle discomfort, but you ignore it, because that's just how life is. You want more out of life, but you get distracted by daily demands. You have dreams, but you were taught that dreaming doesn't pay the bills. And so, time goes by, and you start to believe this is all there is. That maybe you're the problem. Maybe you just weren't born for this. But let me tell you something, clearly and from the heart. It's not your fault that you're stuck, but it is your responsibility to wake up. As long as you keep accepting the routine as your only reality, your mind will keep replaying the same thoughts, which create the same emotions, that lead to the same actions, keeping you locked in the exact same place. It's like you're living inside a maze, a mental maze, invisible but very real. And the worst part? The maze was designed by other people. You just inherited the map, never questioning if it actually leads where you want to go. But take a deep breath and observe. How many decisions did you make consciously today? How many choices were intentional, aligned with your true self? Or did you just react? Go with the flow? Do what you always do? This is the most dangerous prison of all. The one you don't even know you're in. The prison of unconscious living. But there is a way out. And that way begins with awareness. With the simple, yet powerful, act of observing your own thoughts. Because when you observe, you create distance. And when there's distance, you're no longer the thought. You become the creator of the thought. You can rewrite the code. You can break free from autopilot. You can wake up. But first, you have to realize you've been asleep. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's the time. You're not here by accident. This journey is just getting started. When I finally understood this, my life changed completely. Because for years, I thought I was winning, working harder than everyone around me, hitting goals, delivering results, buying things I didn't even really want, just to look successful. On the outside, everything looked right. But on the inside, the silence was heavy, the emptiness, constant. That feeling of being swallowed by something invisible was a daily reality. Have you ever felt that? You push yourself. You give it your all. You try to follow society's script, but something just doesn't fit. Even when you achieve something, peace doesn't follow. Joy is fleeting, and your mind stays restless, whispering, "This isn't it." And that's because it's not. We live in a world that measures success by appearances, by bank accounts, degrees, clothes, titles, vacations. But what no one tells you is that all of that can become a disguised prison. Bob Proctor said, "True success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's not about chasing what others value. It's about becoming who you were born to be. But you were conditioned to look outward, to seek validation, to prove yourself, to earn recognition, even if it costs your mental health, your freedom, and your soul. It's the 'when I get there' syndrome. When I get that promotion, I'll finally feel better. When I have enough money, everything will fall into place. When I buy that house, then I'll be happy." But every time you get there, the emptiness finds you again. Because there was never a physical place. It was always an inner state. A feeling you tried to buy with achievements, but that can only be born when you align with your soul's true purpose. Just imagine for a moment an award-winning actor who never wanted to act. A successful doctor who can't stand hospitals. A millionaire entrepreneur who only ever wanted to paint in silence. These people are admired, respected, even envied, but inside, they're lost. And maybe in some way you felt that too. Tired of chasing things that leave no taste. Running after goals that leave you feeling empty. And it's okay to admit that. Because it's only when you recognize the illusion that you can begin to see the truth. You weren't born to collect titles. You were born to expand. To live in alignment with your essence. But the world taught you to fear your own soul. To question your calling. To silence your intuition with logic. To bury your dreams beneath obligations. You were taught that living off your passion is risky. That listening to your inner voice is rebellion. That changing direction means you've failed. So, you adapt. You shape yourself to fit in. You learn how to look like you're doing fine, while inside you're slowly fading away. But what if you started to question things? What if, instead of asking, "What do I need to do to be successful?" you asked yourself, "Who am I becoming?" And what? That question changes everything, because it shifts the focus from the outside to the inside, to the place where your true purpose has always lived, whispering in the background of your awareness. You're not failing. You're just disconnected. And the good news? Reconnection doesn't require more effort. It requires presence. You already have everything you need inside you. The intuition, the compass, the spark that knows the way. But as long as you're distracted, chasing goals that aren't yours, desires planted by marketing, comparison, and fear, you'll never truly hear the call. Life wasn't meant to be just survived. It was meant to be awakened to. And to do that, you'll have to question everything you've been taught about success. Because real success doesn't create anxiety. It brings peace. It doesn't weigh you down. It expands you. And when you find that place, you won't need to prove anything to anyone. You'll simply know, in silence, that you're on the right path. If this message spoke to you, drop a comment below and say, "I'm reprogramming my mind." If you're committed to your transformation. Bob Proctor once said something that very few people truly grasp. You were created in the image of something far greater, and within you lies a perfection that never disappeared. It was only covered up. That voice has always been inside you. You heard it in childhood, before the world started shouting over it. You still feel it, in quiet moments, but almost never listen. That voice isn't anxious. It isn't logical. It's not in a rush, but it's persistent. It's your inner calling. The quiet reminder that you came into this world for something far greater than paying bills and following routines. But you ignore it. We all do for a while. Because we were taught to prioritize the external. To listen to teachers, bosses, parents, leaders. Everyone except ourselves. And so, that voice grows fainter, more muffled, until one day you mistake the silence for absence. But it never left. It's just waiting for you to pause, to breathe, and to look inward again. Imagine there's a flame inside you. Delicate, but steady. It never went out. It's just been buried beneath ashes. Ashes of fear, guilt, comparison, and broken promises. And every time you say yes to something your soul resists, that flame dims. Every time you force a smile while you're breaking inside, it nearly vanishes. But it's still there. Always there. Your inner calling isn't a shout. It's a whisper. And you need inner silence to hear it. But the modern world doesn't like silence. It thrives on noise, on constant buzz, on endless stimulation, social media, information overload, pressure, advertising, comparison. All of this was designed to disconnect you from your essence, to make you forget that you already carry within you what you're searching for outside. Now listen closely. You have a mission, not in some mystical, vague sense, but in the deepest, most real way. You're here to express something only you can express, in a way no one else in the world can replicate, maybe through art, through your words, through your touch, through your leadership, through your presence. But that true expression only happens when you stop following someone else's script and start writing your own. You're tired, not because you did too much, but because you did too much of what you were never meant to do. You feel that emptiness, not from a lack of achievements, but from a missing connection to what's real inside you. And the worst part? You already know this. Deep down you do. But you're afraid. Afraid of looking crazy. Afraid of failing. Afraid of disappointing others. Afraid of losing your security. But listen closely. The biggest insecurity is living disconnected from who you truly are. When you start hearing that inner call, everything begins to shift. Maybe not on the outside, not right away, but inside, a transformation begins. You start to see with new clarity, to feel with deeper meaning, to act with greater intention. The mind, once clouded by noise and old conditioning, starts to open up like the sky after a storm. And what once seemed impossible begins to feel natural. Not because the world changed, but because you changed the way you see it. And now, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, honestly, what inside me is begging to be heard? Which part of me feels suffocated, waiting for space? What do I need to start honoring in myself right now? This is your soul trying to remind you who you really are. And you're not hearing this by accident. If you felt something stir inside, if something in you was touched by these words, that's your confirmation. Don't ignore it anymore. It will guide you back home. No one ever told you this. But everything you live, everything you attract, everything you call reality, is just a reflection of what's stored in the quiet basement of your mind, your subconscious. The conscious mind is logical. It analyzes, questions, thinks. But the subconscious, it's emotional, it's obedient, and above all, it's powerful. Bob Proctor used to say the subconscious is like fertile soil. It doesn't judge what you plant. It just helps it grow. If you plant fear, anxiety will grow. If you plant scarcity, you'll harvest lack. If you plant doubt, stagnation will bloom. But the opposite is true too. If you plant abundance, if you plant confidence, if you plant faith, then reality bends to the power of your mind. Here's the catch. Until about age 7, your subconscious is completely open. It's like a sponge. Everything you heard, saw, and felt was recorded without any filter. Phrases like, money is hard to come by. You have to suffer to succeed. Rich people don't go to heaven. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? Those voices never went away. They became your operating system. And that's why, even today, with all your effort, dedication, and intelligence, you still feel stuck. You're trying to build a new life with an old code. Think of your mind like a computer. The conscious mind is the keyboard, but the subconscious, that's the invisible software running the commands. You can type positive phrases all day long, but if the program running in the background says you don't deserve it, or that success is dangerous, or that it's not safe to be seen, the system simply blocks the new reality. Now listen to this. You can change the code. And no, it's not magic. It's neuroscience. It's repetition. It's emotion. It's presence. Your brain is plastic. It reshapes itself. It rebuilds. It reconnects, as long as you know how to act. And it all starts with 3 keys. Awareness. You need to see what's running silently beneath the surface. What invisible beliefs are steering your decisions, your fears, your blocks? For example, you say you want money, but deep down, you feel guilty for wanting more. The result? You push away what you claim to desire. Replacement with emotion. The subconscious mind doesn't understand words. It understands feelings. That's why affirmations only work when you feel what you say. Repeat after me. I am prosperous. I am worthy of receiving. It's safe to shine. But feel it. Breathe it in. Imagine it. Let your body resonate with those words. Repetition and immersion. You didn't change overnight. You were conditioned over years. So reprogramming demands discipline. It means listening to content like this every day, building new mental habits, avoiding environments that pull you back, and diving deep into a new vibrational field. Everything you desire already exists, not out there in the future, but as a frequency you haven't yet tuned into. You don't need to create prosperity. You need to align with it, like tuning a radio station. And for that to happen, your subconscious has to be recalibrated. You need to change how you feel when you think about money, success, love, freedom. When you start seeing yourself as someone worthy, your energy shifts. Your posture changes. Your vibration rises. And the universe responds. What you're experiencing today is exactly what your subconscious believes you deserve. But if that experience is causing you pain, it's time to reprogram that mindset. And you've already started, just by being here right now. Because information, when met with presence, becomes transformation. When I discovered this, my life changed completely. You were taught to believe that the mind controls everything, that your thoughts shape your reality. But that's only half the truth. The real truth is, your body is the antenna broadcasting the signal of your life. Have you ever noticed how you can say a positive affirmation out loud, while your body is shaking with fear? You say, I am prosperous. But you feel tightness in your chest, a pit in your stomach, tension in your back. Worry about that bill due tomorrow. These aren't coincidences. Hey, signals. Your body is revealing the real frequency you're sending out. And here's the hard truth. The universe doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you vibrate. Bob Proctor always said that thought is the starting point, but it's feeling that powers creation. And feeling lives in the body. The body is the messenger, the mirror of your subconscious mind. You can ignore it, but you can't fool it. You can say 1,000 times that you're confident, but if your body is hunched, tight, anxious, you're sending out scarcity vibes. You're shouting to the universe, I still don't believe it. Think of your body like a radio tuner. You want to tune into a station of abundance, love, freedom. But your body is dialed into fear, resistance, guilt. The only way to change that is to reprogram your emotional language. And that starts with one simple question. What am I feeling right now? Not what you think you're feeling, but what your body is actually feeling. It doesn't lie. It doesn't make excuses. It just shows you the truth. And here's an uncomfortable truth. A lot of people want a new life, but they're not willing to let go of their old emotional baggage. They want wealth, but stay hooked on tension, drama, and struggle. They want love, but keep their bodies locked up in pain. They want peace, yet feed anxiety every single day. Your body needs to unlearn. It needs to break free from the chemistry of scarcity, from the survival hormones, from the cellular memory of fear. And that only happens through presence, conscious movement, visualizations filled with feeling, affirmations spoken from a place of surrender. You know what a miracle really is? When the body starts to believe the new mind. When your posture shifts, your breath changes, your energy transforms. You begin to live the future in the present. And that's what collapses reality. Because the universe hears, this is already real for them. So let it be. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Feel your body. No judgment. No trying to change anything. Just observe. Is there tension? Is there pain? Is there discomfort? Take a deep breath and say to yourself, I release all resistance now. I choose a new frequency. I allow my body to feel abundance. The more you train your body to feel what you desire, the faster you become a magnet for that reality. You don't need to force it. You need to vibrate. And every vibration starts in the body. If this resonates with you, If your body responded to these words, keep listening until the very end. Have you ever wondered, why is it that even when things start falling into place, you feel this strange fear, like you don't deserve it? Have you noticed how sometimes, when an opportunity shows up, you come up with an excuse? You postpone it? You sabotage yourself? That's the inner saboteur, the invisible enemy, and it lives inside you. It's not bad luck. It's not fate. It's a protection system you built yourself a long time ago, without even realizing it. Proctor said, "You'll never overcome a paradigm until you face it with awareness." The saboteur is your survival paradigm. It's the mental pattern you learned to protect you, even if now it keeps you trapped. It says things like, stay where it's safe. Don't take risks. You might fail. What if people talk badly about you? What if you lose everything? Sound familiar? This saboteur isn't evil. It's conditioned, an old program rooted in fear and trauma. Born in the moments when you were rejected, humiliated, frustrated. Back then it helped you, kept you alive. But today, it's stopping you from truly living. Here's the truth. Every time you try to break free from the pattern, the saboteur steps in. You start a new project, and suddenly, fatigue, distraction, and doubt creep in. You enter a new relationship, but you find yourself expecting it to fail. You decide to change your habits, but your body craves the old comfort. Your mind starts yelling, "This won't work." And you give up. But today, you're going to see it clearly. Give it a name, and stop running away. Because the only way to destroy the saboteur is to face it with awareness. You're standing in front of a door. Behind it lies the life you want. Freedom, prosperity, personal power. But between you and that door, there's a shadow. Figure saying, "You can't pass." That shadow is the saboteur, and it only has power if you believe in it. Now say this quietly, "I see you. I know why you're here. But I no longer need to protect myself this way. I choose to move forward, even with fear, even with doubt, even with trembling." Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's action despite it. You don't need to fight the saboteur. You need to deactivate it. And that happens every time you act differently than the pattern. If it says, "You won't make it," you act anyway. If it says, "This isn't for you," you're from, "I was born for this." That's how new pathways are formed. That's how the mind rebuilds itself. That's how the old you dies, and a new identity begins to emerge. Here's a secret. Every time you get past the saboteur, the universe opens a new door. Because you're saying, "I'm ready." And when you're ready, life answers. No one ever told you this. But you don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. And this goes way beyond scattered thoughts or repeated affirmations. We're talking about your vibrational identity, the invisible field of who you truly believe yourself to be. Proctor said it best. The key to living the life of your dreams is becoming the person that life demands. In other words, before you can have, you first need to be. And here's the paradox that freezes most people. How do you become someone you're not yet? How do you feel prosperous when your bank account is in the red? How do you feel confident when your mind is still filled with doubt? How do you live free when everything around you screams prison? The answer is simple, but it's not easy. You have to embody the future in the present. Imagine yourself on a stage right now. There are two versions of you, the one you are today, and the one you want to become. This future version feels no fear. She speaks with certainty. She breathes with ease. She walks with presence. She thinks in abundance. She acts with conviction. Now pause for a moment and feel, how does she dress? How does she respond to challenges? Who does she surround herself with? What does she say to herself when she wakes up? That version already exists. She's not far away. She's inside you, sleeping, hidden, waiting for you to give her permission to emerge. Your vibrational identity is the sum of your emotional, mental, and behavioral frequency. You can't expect a new life with yesterday's thoughts. You can't claim you want prosperity while carrying guilt for wanting money. You can't seek freedom by repeating scarcity-driven behaviors. You need to become someone different. Even if no one understands. Even if everything around you says otherwise. And here's the secret. The new identity starts with small decisions. Want to be disciplined? Start by making your bed like a disciplined person would. Want to be prosperous? Start managing your money like a millionaire in the making. Want to be confident? Speak like you know what you're talking about, even if your voice still shakes. Your subconscious mind needs proof, and you'll give it that proof through consistent action. Don't wait to feel confident to act. Act, and confidence will follow. Don't wait for perfect conditions to transform. Transform, and the conditions will align. Because the universe doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity. Now say it with conviction. With every breath, I become the most powerful version of myself. With every choice, I step away from the old and embrace the new. I'm not trying. I am being. Your vibrational identity is your new home. Will you stumble? Will you hesitate? Absolutely. But every day, you get closer to recognizing yourself, not as someone who wants, but as someone who is. And when you are, the universe bends. Reality reshapes. The impossible becomes inevitable. Bob Proctor said money is a form of consciousness. It's not just paper, numbers, or transactions. Money is energy. And you connect to that energy, not through effort, but through frequency. Now imagine money has ears. It hears your vibration, not your words. It responds to your identity, not your intentions. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Most people live in conflict with this energy. They say they want money, but they reject it in their minds. They say, money is dirty. Money corrupts. I only need enough. Rich people are greedy. And money listens. And money responds. With absence. To unlock the money code, you need to reprogram how you see this invisible force. Money is not the villain. It's not the solution. Money is an extension of your mind. If your mind is stuck in scarcity, money slips away. If your mind is rooted in worthiness, money flows to you. Bob Proctor taught us that you must be in harmony with prosperity. And that starts in a place many overlook. Your self-worth. You don't receive what you want. You receive what you believe you deserve. So stop right now. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, do I feel comfortable receiving large sums of money? Do I feel worthy of living in abundance? Do I truly believe I can be rich just by being myself? If your answer is a hesitant yes, you already know where you need to focus. The next key in the code is flow. Money hates stagnation. It loves movement. It needs to circulate. The more you cling out of fear, the more it slips away. The more you give consciously, the more it comes back with force. Giving, receiving, invest, gratitude. These are the verbs of abundance. And the last piece of this code is what few people actually practice. Daily financial identity ritual. You don't attract money through effort, but through vibrational alignment. Before you go to sleep, as the world slows down, close your eyes and tell yourself, I am an open channel for prosperity. I am in harmony with the flow of money. I accept with gratitude the abundance that is coming. Don't speak like someone waiting for it. Speak like someone who already is. Remember, money doesn't change who you are. It only amplifies it. When you align with your most authentic, truest, and most powerful self, money comes as a reflection, as a consequence, as a response. If this message resonated with you on some level, if something inside you has awakened, if it felt like the universe spoke directly to your soul, then like this video now, and subscribe to the channel because there's much more coming. Many more codes, many more revelations, and a whole journey toward your real prosperity.